The last time we were speaking on the issue of requiring a person to vote to be a citizen, and this is something that must happen. All people need to stand up on that one and make sure that they understand that. You know what I'm saying? Even when we look at many things that is going on in this matter, we see elections uh, that's private and free and that's fair. You know what I'm saying? Must be attained. Those things must be attained. We must be attained because we see that and so I think here that really that sent to sends a terrible message. You know what I'm saying? If that's what the demon Democrats plan on running on, as they remain in disarray, you'll see in chaos, yeah, just like they did our country over 7,500 years probably, you know what I'm saying, over their leading nominee, you know what I'm saying, right now, the creep Joe Biden. Tennessee told, I guess he told Fox News Digital, she does not know what the future will hold for legislation in the Senate, but is fairly confident Senate Majority Leader Chuck the Duck Schumer will reject it. Imagine that. He will reject it. You know what I mean? Chuck the Duck Schumer will reject it. It. I guess it really is a shame on Schumer and a real disgrace that Schumer, as a lawyer and that a person that takes an oath to uphold the Constitution of New York and the Constitution of the United States, if he would blatantly, you know what I'm saying, just undermine our own constitutional principles and not bring something and not bring something like this to the floor and recognize that only citizens should be voting in an election. And as he said, now I told people that before that Chuck the Duck Schumer is a crook from the old book. You know what I'm saying? A old crooked ass, fucking lion ass son of a gun, a SOB, and he's always been. You know what I'm saying? He's going to do just like Kathy Hoxel. He's going to do certain bills and certain things and say he's doing for you and he's backing you up and he loves you down the lane. You know what I'm saying? And many of the old people are sitting up there voting for him still because they still believe that he's something to be thinking about at all. Schumer is a crook and he's always there. Just like uh, uh, Comoro Morales. Same thing, just like his brother, CNN News, and all the people that work in these places. You know what I'm saying? We see Schumer office, did not immediately respond to the request for comments. You know what I'm saying? The passage of the SAVE Act drew praise from conservatives across the nation, including Heritage Action for the American Executive Vice President Ryan Walker, who told Fox News Digital in a statement that the vote is a victory for the integrity of our election and every single American. So why is Chuck the Duck Schumer and the Demon Democrats trying to support a bill that would give people that just came over the border really haven't been over here dealing with this political situation, really haven't been over here paying taxes, really haven't been over here doing anything but coming over here and receiving billions of dollars by these people from our taxpayers' dollars, and they telling us they're gonna do it no matter what the fuck we say, and he will sit up there and try to get these people who've been here no more than maybe 3, 4, maybe 6 months, if that, to vote in our election by the hundreds and the thousands, 4.9 million of it. So that tells me that Chuck the Duck Schumer, as well as Nancy Pelosi, all is a part of what we saw happen in 2020, you know what I'm saying, of the cheating our election, and they're about to do it and try it again. You know what I'm saying? So they ain't fooling no one with that. You know what I'm saying? but we see catastrophically, categorically, you know what I'm saying, inadmissible. Trump argues felony convictions are negated by Scott's immunity ruling. We see the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to be sentenced for the hush money sentence for some dumb fuckery money. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me, because 130,000 ain't that much, especially if you're a rich person and so on. So as far as the fines are concerned, or lying to the government is concerned, or falsifying documents is concerned, you know what I'm saying? That should have been a fine. He should have had to pay it back 130,000, and he should have had to make justification on the presidency based on the the so-called falsified documents, which again would be still a fine. I think it's inadmissible evidence and it needs to be thrown out because it's a silly clown show. But at the same time, we see here with Hush Money convictions was supported to be Thursday. It was supposed to go on Thursday. You know what I'm saying? I guess the sentencing. You know what I'm saying? Sentencing. Instead, the president asked a New York judge to dismiss his criminal convictions of 34 felony counts, 34 big ass felony counts, and crooked ass dumb shit accounts. You got our government looking like a complete clown show, and they still don't see it. All this is Trump. But to even bring this case before and holding on to it in the news is completely clowning our country. You know what I'm saying? And probably making us look like woke homosexuals. You know what I'm saying? But in a 52-page filing, lawyers for the presumptive GOP nominee argued that the trail was tainted by evidence and testimony. You know what I'm saying? Inadmissible. That's inadmissible. That is inadmissible. That's in the middle. It's inadmissible after the recent Supreme Court ruling that grants the presidential immunity for official acts, which should have been happened a long time ago. No president of the United States has ever been treated as unfairly for unlawfully and unlawfully as District Attorney Braggs has acted towards the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Of course, because Alan Braggs is no more than what we call the black card, you know, the Sambo of the group. Sorry to use that phrase. You know, seeing the painted man with the black face and white mountain out there minstrelling and dancing like a clown and shit like that. That's the type of person Alan Braggs is to me. Same thing for Letitia James. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no difference. They are the black card, black clowns working for the demon Democrats, sucking blood, you know what I'm saying, and all types of nasty shit that you probably don't see when they're not around. But at the same time, we see where he has treated Donald Trump in connection with a with the, I guess, bias or whatever investigation. Really, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Extraordinarily delayed charges, just changing, extraordinarily delayed changing decisions and baseless prosecution that gives rise to this motion. Trump attorneys wrote in the Ox or whatever report. The defense lawyer argued that the prosecutors in the Hush Money trial violated the Supreme Court. In more ways than one, they violated more than that. Violated the Supreme Court immunity ruling by using evidence related to official acts. You know, specifically, you know, hinging their argument on the testimony of the White House aides like Hope Hicks, the former White House communication director. Oh yeah, Mr. Communication Director, Hope Hicks. Sound like more like Hope Dix. You get my drift. But we see here where Trump's lawyer argued that Hicks' testimony was categorically, inadmissible evidence since she was advising Trump on official communications. Since she was advising Trump on official communications because of the implications for the institution of the presidency, the use, the use of official acts evidence was a structural error under the federal Constitution that tainted the district attorney's grand jury proceedings as well as the trial. Trump lawyer Todd Blanche, and in an email Bowl, I guess, wrote, I'm sorry to mess up your names, the president, Donald J. Trump Bear, President Trump Bear, uh, the president of the United States attorney initially previewed their plans to ask the verdict, ask the verdict to be they asked the verdict to be tossed in a page-long letter to the judge Juan Merchant or whatever his name, Montanto, whatever his name is, and it seemed like these judges is very corrupt and in the deep state as well. They fooled nobody. Last week, in their filing made public Thursday, they detailed why the Supreme Court immunity ruling applies to New York. It applies to the New York case, which concerns Trump conduct as a presidential candidate before. You know what I'm saying? Ways Merchant decides to delay Trump's sentencing until September 18th to consider the defense argument. He must do that because the argument that you're making in the first place is garbage. The accusations that you're making even is garbage. And we know that it's a setup in all ways because we know full well that Stormy Daniels was a part of that orchestration. She knew, what her intentions were in the matter of it all. And those who probably were surrounded by Trump that may have been even involved in the whole setup of things, knew all of this. So it was a complete operation probably going on by the Democrats in all ways, knowing that they would use this later on down the line when Trump decides he's going to run for office and become the president of the United States. That's when this came in, talking about, all of a sudden Stormy Daniels. So all of a sudden in his presidency, running for office, you can't control him, he ain't taking your money, you're full of shit, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. You pop in Stormy Daniels' accusations to bring up what he did with the money and how he paid for it as an extramarital affair situation that was going on with Donald Trump. So that's bullshit in itself. That is a case that does not make any sense and have no standing and should have not reached the Supreme Court and should have been long time settled and thrown out or settled and moved on. So we know that it's a scheme and it's a sorrowful thing and a sorrowful day that the United States of America will sit up here and talk about a hush money from Stormy Daniels. Some bullshit. We see while Joe Biden fumbles at the podium, Kamala Harris is doing her best to play the presidential role with her dumbass. You know what I'm saying? But we see where Creep Joe Biden continuously fails to reassure the voters. Harris has been doing the opposite. On Thursday, Harris, did her best to shore up the support at the rally in North Carolina. Harris, may be, the likely replacement for the creep himself, because she is one, according to my vote. If he were to step aside, I don't give a flying fuck, and if you step aside, anybody voting for them clowns is out their mind. So we know that you and the rest of your kind need to really step aside. Because ain't nobody gonna be sitting up here, and anybody in the rightful mind should not be voting for Kamala Harris in no shape or form just because she's a dark-skinned looking woman. she's not for the people, really, because she was an orchestrator and was preaching open border policy as well as to what you see is going on in the scheme in order to use these people against the American people, even in their voting power. Much less when we look at the pandemic, we don't see many people coming over the border that got vetted out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about the Turks and many of the other groups, but many of the people that come over that border was not vetted out, and they came over to the country, and you said it was a deadly virus. But you let 4.9 billion fucking people in the country unvetted. Oh, yes, you probably did. hmm But we see the View co-host Joyce, you know, saying, be sure, not case ask George Clooney for a app criticizing Joe Biden. George Clooney could criticize whoever the fuck he want to criticize, and nobody would give a flying two fuck. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got time for that bullshit. What we got time to do is get this country on the track that it's on the right track, but keep it right all the time. You know what I'm saying? But we see GOP groups behind Project 2025 flow conspiracy theories that Creep Joe Biden will use force to keep power. Yes, he will. As what you just saw happen to Donald Trump. Why would that happen to Donald Trump at all? Is the question we must ask. What's so serious about this election to where, in many other elections, to where people would take and try to kill the president in all ways? Because they'll be allowed to use our military, our police, they're inside the top of all of that. And they're in there, and once they get in there, they can use all of that. You know what I'm saying? By one command and one executive order. And they will have to do it. You see. They could rebel and say they're going to do it and this is unjust and this is that. But once that law and executive order goes into play, they have to do it. This is where we know that many of these organizations that we call protecting, supposed to be protecting us, they're doing it to protect us, which is a lie. You know what I'm saying? Many of these agencies are not for the people. So we have to be very careful on how we look. And these organizations, and many of them needs to be reformed. As to what we see took place with Donald J. Trump, that proves that altogether. You know what I'm saying? From what we see going on in many other cities, Chicago, many other cities, Atlanta, Brooklyn, and all the ghettos in the neighborhood of these people being a shooter, killing one another. They always got beef, it's always going on, and no progress or tranquility is in that area at all other than death. So we know for well that there is something wrong. And then when we look at the hip hop music and rap music that preaches this shit, you know what I'm saying, and keep rhyming this shit, and keep on singing this shit, you know what I'm saying, and doing whatever they want to do and say whatever they want to say and many other things, it does not show good for any skills whatsoever based on anything to do with anybody. Nobody asking you to be Mr. Righteous Music Singer. Nobody asking you to do that. But you could change it up. Because some of the times you have to change your style. You know what I'm saying? You can't just do that and that only. You downgraded the music to less than nothing than ABC, so you could bring in all kind of crazies. You know what I'm saying? And then fish them in to sign the contract and go get the bag and all this other stuff and sign the contract in a broken glass and cut finger blood. You know, and all kinds of stupid ass bullshit. And this, that, and all kinds of dumb shit we seeing. And every time you take a picture, you're taking it with some Luciferian ass bullshit because the mentality shit that you do. You know what I'm saying? But we need more than that. That's not good for us. And that's not good for the United States or the communities or the black people at all. Much less what the other racist groups and them are doing. You know what I'm saying? Many of those guys they're working with them blue shirts and khaki pants and hats and covering their face and they're marching and shit like that. They know more than rabble rousers to make us think that the whole United States has gone to shit in the handbag. You know what I mean? They want to make sure that we stay in fear that this group of people will come out. And you have hundreds and hundreds of them coming out the fucking vans and trailers and shit marching to the street. You know what I'm saying? To me, they ain't no more than working for the deep state as well. You know what I'm saying? So that tells me right there, and if you notice, they're wearing blue, not red. So that tells me right there who they're working for. Let's move on. You know what I'm saying? A conservative think tank that is planning for a complete overhaul of the federal government in the event a Republican presidential wins is suggesting that Creep Joe Biden might try to hold on to the White House. Creep Joe, broke back bitch, wanna be pedophilia, Luciferian, motherfucker working for the paternal order, deep state, son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Might try to hold on to the White House by force if he lose the November election. Of course, this is exactly what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at what took place at the White House and even 9/11, you know what I'm saying? You look at the White House, you'd see where that was orchestrated by the demon Democrats to make sure that the election and make it look like an insurrection as if the Republicans were fighting to keep power. You know what I'm saying? But really, that's not what happened on that day. What happened on that day was they set shit up to make it look that way, so you would think that way, and will always be ringing in your head through the news media and social media. Insurrection, 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 34 counts, 34 counts, insurrection, insurrection. So you hear that enough, and think you're gonna start to see, and then you have others like celebrities and many other people who say he's a felon, and many lawmakers and this and that. He has 34 accounts, but you ain't got nothing else except saying the same dumb shit that don't make no fucking sense. You know what I mean? In the event of a Republican taking the White House, he's suggesting that he might try to do that, as you see what happened on stage with Donald Trump. Tells you that he did so. But we see the Heritage Foundation warning, which goes against Creep Joe Biden, broke back bitch ass, you know what I'm saying, own public statement, you know what I'm saying, appeared in a report released Thursday that, you know what I'm saying, the group said results from a role playing exercise gaming out potential scenarios before and after the 2024 election. The lawlessness of Joe Biden administration, which the lawlessness has always been with the demon Democrats from day one. Sorry to tell you. They'll say he is no more than a product of that environment and that piece of garbage you call a man that's supposed to be a president. But we see the lawlessness of the administration of the Creep Joe Biden, hooked by a big pedophilia, want to be Luciferian, you know what I'm saying, paternal order, Nazi German, Judeo, holy, holy, you know what I'm saying, at the border in staffing considerations and in routine defiance of the court ruling in the South. Makes clear that the current nutcase ass president and his administration has administration not only poses intent to circumvent constitutional limits and disregard the will of the voters should they demand a new presidency. The report reads. You know what I'm saying? The report was issued just ahead of the Republican National Convention in 4 months from the presidential election, shows how conservative groups supportive of the President Donald J. Trump turntables on the narrative of which, candidate represents the greatest threat to the country, demon Democrat tradition, to the country's democratic tradition, you know what I'm saying? Creep Joe Biden has dedicated a handful of speeches to laying out the case against Trump, while Trump and his supporters have pointed to his 4 criminal cases to suggest that demon Democrats have in itself weaponized the justice system against a chief politician opponent, which is 100% true in all ways. Sad to say.